Hello, nursing freshman students. Welcome to an episode here with Mr. Itri Papanikolla. I am going to be working on some nursing math today, and we're going to be working on some fluids, some quantity of fluids, some intake, output. We have some different units that we use for fluids when it comes to the medications. Unlike the first week or so that we talked about capsules and tablets, um, and pills, those are solid, so we do not have to make any conversions. A capsule is a capsule, a tablet is a tablet. It's the quantity. With liquids, we have many different ways of representing them. Our obviously universal unit is the ml, the milliliters, as we've talked before with metric system, right? We go from liters to milliliters. And then we can get a little smaller too. We can go up to kiloliters, deciliters, but that's our goal. But in the meantime, a lot of times we see like the volume in ounces, we see it in cups, in pints, in gallons, in drops. So we have to be careful on that. The other topic is the intake and the output, the I's and the O's. As a nurse, you're on your shift, you're observing the patient, you're noticing and interpreting what they're doing. And obviously, fluid intake is extremely important. It's one of this evidence-based data that shows you how the patient is doing, and it's a great predictor of how their health is improving in this process in here. So let me show you some examples here, so then you can see what do we do in this process. So I have a little worksheet here um, to kind of like guide you through, and we're going to start this worksheet with obviously our very important conversions in here. Um, Obviously, as you can see, those top three conversions are our main conversions in here. So we have our ounce, that is 30 mLs, and that's one of those first go to when you're doing your conversions. We also have the 8 ounces that are 240 mLs. Now, if you wonder why 8 ounces, is because this is also 1 cup. So the 1 cup is equivalent to the 8 ounces, which is equivalent to 240 ml. So if you're cutting the cup in half, then you're pretty much are going to be getting something like 120 ml, which is showing right underneath here on the next group. So 4 ounces are half a cup. Half a cup would be 120 mLs, and that's why they're showing this as a very important converter. So that would be half a cup. Now, sometimes you have half a cup, sometimes you can have a third of a cup, sometimes you can have a fourth of a cup, 3/4 of a cup, 2/5 of a cup. It depends. What's important here is that we know that the ml is our universal unit, and the ounce is made out of 30 ml. So you always want to multiply when you see the OZ. That's how I try to remember it. If I see the ounce, I would like to multiply the ounce by 30. So that's my kind of like automatic converter. In this particular case, the ounce gets multiplied by 30. Then we get into the ml. And if I have a cup, I would want to multiply the cup, whatever the amount that might be, half a cup, 1/4 of a cup. I want to multiply that by 240 to get to my milliliters, and then we kind of like add them together here. So with that said, let's try our first example right here, which it's talking about, converting and adding all these things in here together. So they're asking us to convert to milliliters. So we have milk, we have tea, we have juice. This could be your intake for a patient. So what we do here with the ounce, right? As we said, you want to multiply by 30. So, that's our conversion in here. We always multiply the ounce by the 30. So that's something that, we have to remember. So if we go to our calculator and we do 3 times 30, we're going to get a 90 for this particular, scenario right here on the first one. So we have 90 on the top here. So I'm going to put a 90 right here. And then you can put a 90 on the right side right there. For 12 ounces, you can take the 12 and then you can multiply that by, 30 as well. So we will have 12 times 30. That's going to give us 360. So we're going to put 360 there, and you're going to also record 360 mLs right here. And then for the 6 ounces, we're going to multiply, same thing, the 6 times 30. That is going to give us 180 mLs. And then we're going to put the 180 on the right side. So everything was in ounces. We multiplied by 30. We converted everything in mLs. And then now we have our, whole group in here. If they wanted us to find the total intake, the I, right, not the O, the I, we would add all of those 3 together. We would just add them. So we would take the 90 plus the 360 plus the 180. So the total intake for this patient is 630 ml, not ounces, but ml for this particular problem. They gave us milk, tea, juice. They're all liquids. We were able to add them all together once we converted the ounces into the mLs, and then we found the total in mLs. So, okay, let's move on to another problem that you can see a little more how the I's and the O's are being utilized in here. So we'll take notes on problem number 8. There you go. You have during your 8-hour shift, the nurse is there to notify and notice that, this a patient here, Miss Holcomb, drinks 1 8-ounce cup of coffee, one of those, 2 4-ounce glasses of water with lemon juice, still a fluid, and 1 4-ounce glass of prune juice, which is juice as well. And we need to chart her, right? We need to create a chart with our total intake here. And they want us to do it in 2 different formats. They want us to do it in ounces, as you can see in here, and in ml. So that's why on the right side here, we have 2 different components. Now, one thing that goes wrong here that we have to be very careful is, one of those, 2 of those, 3 of those. So you have to be a little careful as far as the reading goes, right? So right here, they're saying 1 8-ounce cup of coffee. Just 1 cup of coffee is 8 ounces. So we're going to go with ounces first. We have 8 ounces coming in from the cup of coffee, plus we have 2 4-ounce glasses of water. So if you take 1 glass of water, that's 4 ounces, and then you drink a second glass of water, another 4 ounces, now you have 8 total ounces as water, and then 1 glass of prune juice, which is 4 ounces. So we have 1 4-ounce glass of prune juice. So again, we have to be careful. We have 1 8-ounce cup of coffee. So just, I wrote 1 8 there. Then we had 2 4-ounce glass of water. So there's, each one of them is 4. So 4 and 4 is 8. And then the 8-ounce glass of prune juice. Now together, I'm going to add them here. 8 and 8 is 16, and 4, we have 20. So we have a 20-ounce intake here in total. Now, as far as converting everything into ml, just remember what we said. We multiply by 30. You can multiply each one of those by 30 in the beginning, or the easiest way to do it is to gather all the ounces together, find the total in ounces, and then multiply that at the end by the 30. And that would be probably the easiest thing to do here, is to say I'm going to multiply by 30 at the end. So 20, which is the total in ounces, times 30, and we know 2 times 3 is 6, and then all we have to do is add a couple of zeros as we see them there, one from the 20, one from the 30. So we have 600 mLs in total for this intake. 1 cup of coffee, 8 ounces each, 2 4-ounce glass of water, so 8 ounces there as well, 16, and 1 4-ounce glass of prune juice, 20, and then we multiply the 20 by 30 to get to 600 mLs. So, okay, let's try another example, a little more challenging, with some of the fractions that we might be able to see within the the intake and the output of these problems here. So the problem that I want to take a look at next is number 12 here on the board. We have Mr. Lane that receives breakfast with a 1 4-ounce glass of apple juice, so just one 8-ounce glass of milk, and 1 8-ounce cup of coffee. So everything is one. So we know it's a 4-ounce glass of apple juice, it's an 8-ounce glass of milk, and an 8-ounce cup of coffee. But we do not know if Mr. Lane drank all of it. They received the tray. Now you are going in, as we said, you always notice and interpret as a nurse. Notice, number one, interpret what you're noticing, number two. So when he finishes the breakfast, you're observing that half the apple juice is full. So you're going to go back now to the apple juice and say they didn't drink all of it. They only drank 2 ounces of apple juice. Half of it is full. So half of it has gone in as an intake. Okay, then we go to the glass of milk. The glass of milk is 3/4 full. So if the glass of milk is 3/4 full, that means the remaining 1/4 of the glass of milk was consumed by the patient. The remaining 1/4. So what you do on your calculator is you do 1/4, which is what was consumed, and you always multiply. You multiply times 8, because it was 1 8-ounce glass of milk, and that gives us 2. So 3/4 full, meaning out of those 8 ounces, 6 ounces are still there in the cup, in the glass, and then 2 ounces were consumed by Mr. Lane. So again, 3/4 full does not mean that you drank 3/4 of it. That means that you drank 1/4, and 1/4 of 8, or 1 divided by 4 times 8, is 2. So that's our intake. And then the cup of coffee is empty. Of course, is empty. They went after the coffee. So that means they've consumed all of the 8 ounces of coffee. So they consumed 2 ounces of apple juice, 2 ounces of milk, and 8 ounces of coffee. I'm going to add those together, and I'm going to end up with 12. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 8 is 12. 12 ounces are the amount that Mr. Lane drank in ounces. In ml, I'm going to do my multiplication after I calculate my ounces. I'm going to multiply 12 times 30 12 times 3 is 36. And then all you have to do is add the extra zero at the end if you like doing like quick math. Otherwise, you can just multiply the 12 times 30 on the calculator and we receive our 360. So the most challenging part of this question was that we did not have everything being consumed, but it was part of the tray that was being consumed. So we have to notice here, how much of it is still there, how much is it consumed, and then add up all the ounces together through the consumption. And then to convert to ml, we would multiply by 30. So very interesting question here, but we have to pay very, very close attention to the detail on this question. So, okay, we want to do one more question on the same category here, just to practice a little more. And so I'm going to look at the last one in the list here, number 20. So number 20 says, at dinner, the resident drank half of an 8-ounce glass of milk and an entire 4-ounce glass of juice. So all of it, the whole 4-ounce glass of juice, and 3/4 of the 8-ounce of glass of water. So this is what the patient drank. So that's consumed. That's intake, right? So that's what we want to do now. We want to record the resident's fluid intake for the meal in milliliters. And most problems, they always are going to go after the milliliters. So we have to work on the ounces first and gather up all the ounces from all those components, turn the ounces into ml, and then we would provide with the final answer, which is always in ml, unless it's stated that we have to have answers in ounces and mLs. So we're going to start slowly. They told us they drank half, so 1/2. You're going to times that by the 8 ounces of milk, or you can say, well, half of 8 is 4, but either way, so we know we have 4 ounces for the milk. Then we have the entire 4-ounce glass of juice. Perfect. So the entire 4-ounce glass of juice. So we're going to add those all together. And then we have, it says 3/8 or 3/4, I should say here. So we have 3/4 of the 8-ounce glass of water. So we're going to take 3/4 and we are going to multiply 3/4 with the 8. And we're going to put that on the calculator and see. So when we do it on the calculator, first you want to divide the 3 by 4. That should give you 0.75. And then you multiply by 8, which gives you 6 ounces in here. So that's 3/4 or 3/4 of 8-ounce glass of water. So that's what they drank. So we know that's our intake. And now we can finally add our ounces together. Like we said, we're going to add everything together in here. And when we do this addition, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 6 is 14. So we have 14 ounces total. Now, that is ounces. It is not ml. So we took half a glass of milk, 8 ounces the glass. Now it's 4 ounces. The entire 4-ounce glass of juice, and then 3/4 of the 8-ounce glass of water. We have 14 ounces. What we're going to do lastly here is we're going to multiply this at the end by the 30. And when we multiply this at the end by the 30, we're going to do 14 times 30. We are going to end up with 420 milliliters of fluid intake. And that would be our final answer in the box here, 420. So again, we are noticing, we're interpreting, we're taking a look at the units. If all the units are in ounces, We keep them in ounces till the end. If the units are in ounces and mLs, we worry about the ounces aside from the mLs, and we change the ounces into the mLs, and then we add them all together at the end in here. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of a introduction and explanation on the I's and the O's here for our week 3 supplemental for our 107 class. And we progressed now through the first 3 weeks with our solids, our introduction to liquids with our mg's and ml's. And then this week, we're going to focus a little more on that intake and the output so we can understand what those numbers represent. So try to keep your stress low, your anxiety low with those questions, and just focus on the reading and comprehending like what is being developed there in the problem, and what are the explanations behind those numbers. Make sure you don't fall for any of those distractors. If a patient is eating like a solid meal, does not count for a fluid intake. So make sure that they are fluids at room temperature, as we spoke, and we will be fine as far as making the conversions and then adding them at the end. So pleasure educating you guys and coaching you and teaching you, and I will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.